And that means that, well, that means a whole bunch of different things, but ultimately it kind of means that almost all the people who have heard my reviews, my reactions to these comic books, have no idea that I have a 2 hour show each week that I've been doing for the Republic Broadcasting Network for 6 years now. And it's a well received show. I have followers all around the world. Somebody's listening to the show all the time. It's not always about comic books. It's a lot more about comic books maybe today than it was yesterday, as it were. Because I've made it a point to make it as such. But sometimes it is just about comic books and fun and pop culture and all these other things that I get to talk about in over a 2 hour span. I mean, my guest coming up, Ash Woodward, here at the top of the hour, is this a horror expert. She's the spooky scholar, quite literally, and having a chance to talk with her like I did a couple of weeks ago about the history of comic books and about the relationship between horror and comic books and how it still goes on today. That's fantastic. I love that because what people need to read, and people need to read what they enjoy, and better that they read something than nothing. These are all the simplest, easiest arguments, above and beyond the quality, the fun, the entertainment in there, and that's why I wanted to include a read on this one in the show this week, because this is a classic. This book that I read this week is one of these what they call facsimiles. I know us old people know what facsimiles are. New people may not. They're supposedly exact copies of the originals, and in a lot of cases these are. They even make them in the oversized formats, not like the normal size that they are today. Well, the current size that they are today, I should say. There's nothing normal about it. The current size that they are today. And this one is no different than that. This is More Fun Comics is what it is. It's a DC Comics group publication, Superman Comics. We're talking 1941, November, September 1941 here. This particular issue is number 73. More Fun Comics is, of course, the home of Dr. Fate and the Spectre and many others. It's an anthology series, anthology books, like many books were back in this time period. There weren't very many. There may not be any titles that were like a single character that held its own title until Superman. What was that? A year before, right? 1940, or was it 39 when Superman got his own comic? Because obviously he started out in Action Comics. It might have been 39, so it hadn't been long, and there hadn't been many, if there had been any at all. Most of the books were still these anthology series, and I love these. I still get, even though I don't talk about DC and Marvel a lot, I concentrate more on the independent books in these reactions, these reviews. It's not that I don't read them and I don't collect them, because I do, and I collect mostly the anthology stuff. I have Action Comics and Detective Comics, of course, on the list, and then there's Brave and Bold and some others that come and go at different times, World's Finest, but that kind of does just focus on Superman and Batman together, but with other characters and things. It's more than just about a single character, and you don't have to try to get a single character to carry a title, because they couldn't back then, and they barely can do it these days. So that's why there are more anthology books today than there were, yesterday, like I was saying. More Fun Comics, DC Comics Group, number 73. It opens up with a Dr. Fate story, which is, of course, that makes sense. And with these facsimiles, one of the best things about them isn't just that you get these old stories, it's that you get everything else around it, and you get sort of the advertisements and the editorials and the commentary, and in a lot of these magazine type anthology series, they will there'll be stories. They don't even have traditional comic book images to go along with them, and there's at least one of those stories in this one, if I remember correctly. I made all my notes down on here. I read so much of this stuff in a week. I have to think about it sometimes. But this one, I didn't have to think about a lot because this is fantastic. This is history right here. This particular book, along with all those advertisements like the Superman crypto ray gun, which is just a projector. It's a handheld projector that projects images on the walls, but it's made by Daisy, the gun people. Along with the ads and the things like that. There's also the language. They spoke so much differently than we do today, and there's something of a weird American formality, not like what you would expect, a British formality, right? But an American formality that we don't necessarily have these days, with so much slang in our language and people coming from so many different places and such different vast experiences, even from one state to the next, or half of the state to the next. Have you ever compared to the people on the east side of Colorado, east side of the mountains, the Rocky Mountains in Colorado, to the west side of the Rocky Mountains? Ask anybody that lives there on either side, and they'll tell you one about the other. So either way, I'm safe on this one because I'm not choosing a side, even though I'm from this side of it, and I'm not over there with those weirdos on the west side of the mountains. This book is the first appearance of Green Arrow and Speedy. That's what I guess the second story in here, and that's Oliver Green and Roy Harper, those characters that we know today. Maybe Speedy not as well known, obviously. Also, the first appearance of the aeroplane. Green Aeroplane, yeah, whatever. You got some of them are a stretch, folks. Great little story in there about a mysterious killer who's going around killing members of this history club. And the members of the history club are kind of funny because they're all people with natural, sort of famous last names like Lincoln or Hale, like Nathaniel Hale, that sort of thing. Caesar was another one of them. There's a number of them in this group. And they have to solve that mystery, and they do. There's a third. This book is huge. This thing is huge. There's each one of these stories, by the way, except for the one written story, is like 8 pages long, 8 to 10 pages long. Each one of them, each of these. So there's the Dr. Fate story. There's the Green Arrow story. There's a third story that features the Radio Squad, and the Radio Squad is a regular feature in More Fun Comics. The fourth story is featuring Johnny Quick, and he's kind of a Flashlight character, super speedy kind of guy. There's a fifth story, which is a whodunit, which is there's no art in it. It's just a couple of pages, and it's just a quick little whodunit sort of mystery, maybe like an Encyclopedia Brown type mystery almost. Kind of simple, not too big. Obviously, if it's only a couple of pages of print, it can't be too big. There's a sixth story that features Clip Carson, and he's a dapper sort of detective type character. A seventh story that is about the Spectre, and you had to get him in there at some point, right? And then they wrap it up with, and this is why this is amazing. This book is just so amazing. The first appearance of Aquaman, and of course Aquaman he's the answer to a couple of things. It's 1941, so we're talking about the growing fear of Nazis and submarines, and then of course Timely Comics has their Submariner character already a couple of years before that, 1939. So More Fun Comics, an amazing read, fun stuff. It's on your shelves right now, your local comic shop shelves. If you can't get one, hit me up at AmazingFantasies.com. I'll help you get one, or I'll find one somewhere out there for you, or a place to get one somewhere out there for you. I'll help you out. Otherwise, if you're ever in Topeka, Kansas, stop and visit us in the store sometime.